Good morning, everyone. John Macaroon, Doc, here to recap the first week of training camp, probably over the next 30, 45 minutes. I got a nice sunny day planned. Lots of content still that you can visit at Detroit Podcast, the central hub of the operation. Detroit Lions on SI website that you can go to right there, as you see, si.com/NFL/Lions. That's how you can get all the information that you need, that you want. Let's go. Sunday morning, we got things to talk about. It's not a day off. There's no day off in training camp. Things I want to say, things that I need to express, because I think my media friends, when they talk about fair and balanced, I think they swung in a direction when they're talking about the backup quarterbacks. What do I mean? I like what they say, but I think when the media also evaluates, they always say, wait a minute, pump the brakes, but yet they've swung in a real direction on one subject. Interesting. I want to talk about that. Over the course of the next half hour, I'm going to talk about what I like, what I don't like, what excites me, what scares me. And over the course of the next half hour, 45 minutes or so, we'll just preview week 2, what's going to happen, what I want to see. It's game week. When we go back on Monday, we're going to start to look at who's going to play on Thursday. I'll be going to Canton, driving out there Thursday. But my goal is this camp, set myself apart by recording every single day live. Do it live, my friends say. Absolutely, my friends say, do it live. I want to bring information and bring what I'm saying via this platform. You guys have been great, supportive. Hit the like button. If you're watching, like. That's how we continue to grow. That's how I can bring you insider information right from the field. And Dan Campbell said he's watching. That means he saw me on the field right there, not hiding from the hot sun. I'll be right there all week long next week, 90 degrees. I'll be right there on the sideline, sweating, documenting, interpreting. Absolutely. Thank you, Vincent. But the first thing we're going to get to right away is a topic that has kind of taken over training camp just a little bit. External free agents. Do the Lions need somebody else? Most of the fan base loves and would really get excited for the opportunity to get Zadarius Smith back. I just think that there's a lot of young players that are popping that could prevent you from going out and getting a plus 30-year-old player. But a player that's been talked about is Matthew Judon has spoken to the Lions. And Dan Campbell did say, we're going to focus on, he's not going to say publicly, yeah, we're looking at these players. So you look at it and you say, do you need Matthew Judon? Maybe. We'll see. Maybe they make that. Maybe they'll make that decision to go externally. But I think they have some young players that you want to take a look at. And I'll talk about it. Do they need him? I don't think so. Yeah, he brought 5.5 sacks, and he's a good player. He's a good vet. What do you guys think? I don't think so. I just think that you do need as much pass rush help as you can get. But I like what I'm seeing from Nate Lynn and Ahmed Hassanin and Pat O'Connor. I'm hoping that the young players can step up and you can fabricate some pressure from different spots, including, I know people forget because he's not there, including Josh Pascal when he does return. So there's opportunities outside of Aiden and Marcus Davenport to get some pressures. But I think there's going to be a different philosophy in regards to sacks and all that. I don't think the sack totals are going to go crazy this year, but they'll still find ways to disrupt the quarterback. So quickly, let me know, what do you think? Do the Lions need Matthew Judon? I don't think so. I think the Lions are good enough with their linebackers to be able to establish what they need to, the pressure to get after the quarterback. The defensive tackles have done a great job, especially most notably on Friday. They were dominant all over the place. Pat O'Connor was doing some great things. I think you have enough to sustain, at least through the early parts of the regular season, to assess where you're at. And if you need to make a vet move later on, maybe that's the case with another veteran, but maybe somebody in the age range of 27 to 30. I think Matthew Judon is a player that potentially will wait and be able to get an opportunity when another team has an injury or when he can leverage his situation. It's great. Hometown guy. It's something that you kick the can on, but I think some of the players that you're seeing are pretty good. as you should. I think there should be high expectations for a lot of the players on the roster. I just think that the external free agents are tough to evaluate, because of the fact they don't know the system yet. And how long is it going to take to catch up to speed? Probably would be not too long over the course of a preseason, but the sooner the better. If you're going to make that decision, make it now. I'm just of the opinion that you don't need to make that decision. I think you have enough. You can do what you need to do, and you can really, really develop young players, most notably Ahmed Hassanin, young players like Keith Cooper Jr., who's just popping all over the place. So we'll see if the Lions do get opportunities to get out there and you also too remember you're going to get Ellie McNeil back, the defensive tackle. So there's opportunities there along the defensive line to keep it going. But I like what I see from the linebackers right now. Derek Barnes is having good practices. You hope that Alex Ancelotti's hamstring continues to get better and you get after it. So you look at it and you say, okay, Keith Cooper is somebody that's getting his name written down. So I do think that, the Lions are using the Sam linebacker spot quite a bit. So Keith Cooper is a defensive end getting some opportunities. I think that's a real good spot to get, young players some development. And then you want to continue to see what Turner and Pittman can do. Pittman needs to kind of step it up. I think his name not getting written down as much. So let me know. Am I wrong? Do the Lions need Matthew Judon? Yeah. We're located on X at Detroit Podcast, and the channel is called Detroit Lions on SI. One of you guys, great. Let's help each other out. Help the doc out. Type in the link to where new followers that come in from X can find it. Type it in the chat. Then you can find it, subscribe, like, and you can be part of the group. But yeah, I'm just trying to put it in more places so that everybody can come in and interact and be part of the streams and ask questions. As we're talking, any super chat gets handled first. Any questions that you have, we'll address it. And again, I'm doing this on a Sunday morning because the sun is calling me. The outdoors are calling me this afternoon, but we're going to have content scheduled. No days off all throughout. You can rewind this. It'll be featured in other articles. So if you go to si.com/NFL/Lions, our content will feature a lot of this YouTube stuff, and you can find it in the articles. So click the articles. You'll get videos. There's a video of Alex Ancellotti answering my question and talking to the media. There's a preview from a national reporter who came to town. So we have we have one of the best video players in town. Up-to-date video content, fresh with daily content from Alan Park, from the players, from Dan Campbell, from national media who come in, the full package. It's Sunday, it's a day to reflect. It's a day to praise the Detroit Lions. It's a day to criticize the Detroit Lions. That's the way to do it, in my humble opinion. Detroit Lions on SI is the YouTube channel name. And again, let me know in the comments, Judon, Zadarius Smith, are you still holding on hope for Smith? Let me know. All right, let's get to what was good before we get to the scary stuff. What excites us about the Detroit Lions? Your Blue Bloods are getting better. All of them. They're getting better. Draft and develop. Draft, develop, sign. That's what the Detroit Lions are doing. And you're getting that. Terry Arnold getting better. Jack Campbell getting better. Jamison Williams getting better. Your Blue Bloods are getting better. Jahmyr Gibbs getting better. What excites us? Development is happening. The players on the roster are getting better. And I'm telling you guys, we're saying this with the context that in the past, the players would come here and it was like they had already peaked and you didn't get more out of them. You're starting to see Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. You're starting to see the running backs block. You're starting to see improvement where you get a polished diamond and you shine it up and you trim it down and you make it shine even brighter. When has that happened over the course of 5 years? It felt like the Lions would come in and they would get drafted, they'd hit a ceiling, and they would never get past it. Well, why is that happening? Because they keep bringing in competition at different spots. And it's true. Iron sharpens iron. Terry Arnold's battling Jamison Williams. That is a way to develop. Terry Arnold looking good first week of camp. Jamison Williams, clearly, you can go check out a story I did. I asked several players, and I'll share. It was funny. Amon-Ra's been great in the media, but he doesn't like the Jamo question anymore. I don't think he understood really the spirit of the question, but in essence, he's like, you guys have been asking about Jamo for 4 years. What do I think about Jamo? He's great. He's a beast. I'm glad he's on my team. He's fast. But the context is Dan Campbell said he's now just tapping into his potential. That means he's now just starting to look like a bomb number one receiver. And so I probably needed to use a couple more words to explain, like, what does that look like when Jamo is out there and running good routes? What can he do better? What can you expect this year? I mean, there's no real way we're talking about Jamo, but there's a full, you get content from, you can actually, if you go to the video from the Detroit Lions on Saturday, there's a handsome young reporter talking to Tesla. That's me. And I thought I asked a good Jamo question. Absolutely. That's the key. I think that's the secret. I think, Richard, you hit on the secret sauce to my success. I love this. It's not work. How does it work? I'm talking football, talking ball with the people who love ball. This isn't work. This is just sharing what I know with the people who brought me to the dance. You all put me here because I podcasted for 5-6 years, and I made it a goal to say, okay, podcasters can cover the NFL. When the outsiders didn't believe. Thank you for that. The outsiders didn't believe a podcaster could cover the NFL, ask direct questions, report, become a reporter. I made myself a reporter from the ground up, where the first 2 years, I didn't ask a single word. I sat and I watched and took notes. No ego. Just sit, watch what the greats are doing, and go, okay, how can I add to this room? And I don't have certain parameters that they do. They have parameters they got to follow. I don't. I'm in charge, which is very much the way to go. I get to ask the questions. No one's telling me what to ask, what to say, what to talk about. Who's in charge? This guy. And it makes it so freeing. I can take a note and say, I want to ask this today. And the reason why I think it resonates is because I was a fan of Detroit sports. That's the lens I come from. I was a fan of Detroit sports. So it has to resonate because I'm the biggest fan. Think about it. The biggest fan worked his way into that room. So what excites me is to do this job and present fairly what's going on. Thank you. That's really nice and humbling that the 150 people or so in here and those that will check in later are going to get what I bring to the table. So remember the context. The Lions are getting better. It's exciting. It's exciting to talk about that the Lions' good players are getting better. You're going to use and test Jahmyr Gibbs. And then also, too, when you're competitive, you're never happy. I understand that. When you're competitive and you're a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, you're not just happy, oh, I had a good year last year. No, you want to get better this year. You probably are only thinking about the fumble you had in the NFC Championship game. Yeah, he's going to get praised and be talked about for great awards, but he should only be thinking about one thing. Shoot, I cost my team in that biggest game. That's the only thing you should be thinking about. I cost my team. I owe the Lions one. And he'll bring it back. He'll pay it back in spades. Yep, I still do. A little bit less because the football has taken over and is very, very rewarding. So that's exciting, is the development of the young players. They're getting better. The other thing that excites us is the coaching staff. Again, I think the worry about the coaching staff is overblown. Kelvin Shepard is as passionate or more as Aaron Glenn. He relates to the players. It's the same system, and you're only going to build on it. And I think that he's going to get the benefit of what a great supporter told me. He's like, yeah, in a response to my latest article that the Lions defense could be better without Aaron Glenn, is they have to be. They're going to be healthier. They can't be any worse. So good on you. I respect that comment. Yeah, I think he's going to take what Aaron Glenn built and build this defense to get even better. So the coaching staff with John Morton getting the best out of Jamo and Jahmyr and Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta, the offense is going to be something to be proud of. and the coaching staff, John Morton and Calvin Shepard, will not be a narrative this year because you got Dan Campbell helping the offense. You got great coaches. Scotty Montgomery is working with the wide receivers, and you see Scotty Montgomery's impact right away. What did you read yesterday? The wide receivers are balling out the young ones. It's not easy to do. Love it. Jackson Meeks, Isaac Tesla, Jamo. That's a direct reflection of the leader that they have in Scotty Montgomery. Good on him. And I don't think he's sitting there praising him today. I'm sure he's talking about some of their drops, some of their missed routes, some of the depth of their angles, small stuff to get them better. That excites me. Talent on this team is good enough to grind and develop on the offensive side, and then the defensive side is coming along. What excites us? The rookies are getting into it. Ahmed Hassanin getting a little bit better day by day. His development is going to be key all throughout the next year or two. Tyleik Williams, firmly going to be a day one starter. Tate Ratledge is going to be hopefully the right guard to start. That's exciting. I think there's opportunities where you can say, okay, these young players. Now, again, yes, Tesla was great against DiCaprio Boodle. But remember, that's a defensive back that probably is not going to make the team. And it's on the it's a rep where you go, good. He battles. He's showing that he can do things on the second and third teams, and he can get after it. But Tesla, remember, guys, if he is moving up the depth chart, that's a good sign. But that means something's wrong with Khalif Raymond and Tim Patrick, and that's not a good sign because those guys are talented. So again, good highlights. It's good to be highlighted early in training camp, but pump the brakes just a little bit. In that, I would be surprised if he ends up even being wide receiver 4 in the playoffs. He could be, get out there. I don't think it would be a bad thing if by the time the playoffs hit, you see a 4 wide receiver set of Amon-Ra, Jamo, Tim Patrick, and Isaac Tesla. That'll be fun. Absolutely. Absolutely. The new blood is something that's very exciting. Bears fans should be scared. So, Jahmyr Gibbs looking great. The rookies are looking great. We talked about Jamison Williams. Sam Laporta has been unlocked again. He's blocking. He's doing his thing. All the tight ends are battling, and they're able to get after it. They're the safety valve. I asked Jared Goff, and the question I asked him is, what's it like when you have reliable tight ends? It's like it makes it easy. They're open in the middle of the field. They're big body targets, and they're their security blanket. I think all three. Right now, I think what people are believing is that, and I think it's true, is that the top 3 are Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, and Shane Zylstra. Kenny Yeboah is still working in camp, but not making as many highlight plays as the other 3. And then the biggest thing that should excite everybody, Aiden's back, guys. Aiden's back. Beating Penei Sewell, calling his shot. Aiden's back. That should excite a lot of people. That should excite a lot of Detroit Lions fans, is that he's got good burst, good energy, and he has no remnants of the injury. I mean, you love to see it where he's like, I think I'm going to use this move on Penei. And Penei Sewell is all-world right tackle. He's like, I'm going to use this. And then when he does it, looks into the cameras like, I told you. I've never seen anything like that. He called his shot, used it, and they filmed it and took it. But Penei Sewell had a better practice on Saturday. It was great. Another reason, some unsung heroes are starting to emerge. Grant Stewart is a name you got to pay attention to. 1-5. He hits. He's gritty. He's a glue guy. He's a guy that is a Dan Campbell gritty guy. Try hard. That's why the coaching staff loves him, is maximizing his talent. Purely, you just write his number down every single day. 1-5. Popping Amon-Ra St. Brown, doing everything in special teams, trying through every single rep. Doesn't lose. Grant Stewart's a try hard, and he's also talented. You don't get to this level and stay at this level if you're not somebody that can compete. The defensive tackles excite me. DJ Reader, Tyleik Williams, I think are really starting to pop. Starting to do some things. DJ Reader and Tyleik Williams in the second and third string defensive line was clogging up the middle No doubt about it. It was just making things very difficult for the Lions offense to get anything going on the run game. It's good to see. So it's exciting. And then my fellow friends in the media are talking about the quarterbacks and the development of Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen. I'll talk about that probably in the next section. I talked about that yesterday. I don't think so. I just don't. I don't know what that weird thing maybe potentially that he did in the locker room, but there's a lot of bit of with the Raiders. I don't know. It just seems a little bit unusual for that player. It might not be might not be worth it to inject that into the locker room. If he's all on board and the puzzle's right, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of that player, but not that player with whatever's going on. There's some weird smoke around him, his rehab, you know. But did the smoke alarms go off for Brad Holmes? Did his red light free agent go off? Oh, foot injury? That means cheap. And if he gets the settlement, then he'll get his money. Then he'll just be happy. He'll just come in and take less money. We'll see. Again, external free agents now is a little bit tough. We'll always definitely pay attention to who's getting released over the course of the next month after games. And what excites us, finally, is we're going to see these players on Thursday. I will be in attendance at the Pro Football Hall of Fame to watch, get after it, make plays. Who's battling? The safety spot is great depth, very competitive. Great stuff we're going to get a chance to see. All right, moving ahead to what scares us. There are certain spots that are a little bit concerning, guys. Unfortunately, the depth, and it's going to be concerning for every team, but specifically what scares us about the Lions, if something happens to Decker or Penei Sewell, your depth at tackle is a little bit rough. Dan Skipper, Manu, that's going to be tough to be reliable against some of the best defensive ends in the world. That's going to be tough. You may need to upgrade. You may need to be able to get after it and find ways to make it work. But Jamarco Jones is probably in the lead to get that spot. Dan Skipper as well in the reserve role. Unfortunately, guys like Kobe Sorsdal are just finding difficult struggles in their roles. So, listen, the starting offensive line should make you happy. That should be exciting. I don't have no problems. Skipper, you've seen Skipper out there with the starters, and Aiden Hutchinson just didn't make it a fun day. Dan Skipper did not have a fun Saturday, I promise. But Taylor Decker, Mahogany, Glasgow the center, Ratledge, and Penei Sewell should allow you to handle business. But it's in the second and third units that you got to be concerned. We've seen a lot of Manu. He's developing. He's better than he was last year, but he's still far away from somebody that if he's put in there, I would be worried. Moody is somebody that's been repping at left guard and at the guard spot. I think he's very reliable. I think he's going to work his way into the rotation. Netane Moody, solid player. Jamarco Jones, somebody else making a case for themselves. Also in the reserve mix is Coyote Awosika and Nice. I think those guys are pretty much protected. The rest are a little bit in trouble. Guys like Colby Sorsdal are struggling. It's unfortunate, It's tough because he doesn't have a role. They're trying to put him at every single spot. A young undrafted free agent, Mason Miller, is getting a lot of looks. But he's definitely a player that definitely has the size and physicality, can play everywhere, but is struggling a little bit with Hassanin and some of the great moves from the reserve defensive linemen. So I look at it and I say, Cologne will get a chance to look at in week 2. Kingsley Egwakun is somebody that is getting after it. So the tackle spot is scary. I would give that something to be very concerned about. He is. He's doing well. Cologne got in the mix a little bit late this week, but he is doing well. Yeah, good. I thought he looked good. Stout against the run. The issue is going to be from the interior. I don't know if you're going to get a lot of pressure from a guy like Roy Lopez. So it's going to be a challenge in regards to it's going to be a challenge to look at the reserve offensive lineman and say, okay, who's going to step up and who's going to be somebody that in the heat of the moment steps up. There's some good reserves, but we'll get a chance to see them step it up against competition, the menus of the world, and it'll be a good sign. Absolutely, smash that like button. Thank you. So that's scary. Again, naturally, we always are going to say the injuries are going to be very scary. You know, it's going to be concerning. And also, too, I guess what you could look at is to say that the defensive tackles definitely took advantage of the offensive line shuffling and we're clogging the middle. We're winning reps. What scares me also is the Alex Anzalone situation. Too much noise. I think Alex is a nice individual, very accommodating, and very accommodating. But I just think that, yeah, you take heat either way. I just think Alex should politely decline some of these interviews because every time people see him, they're going to want to talk to him. And then you're going to have to face questions from me and the media about your contract. I cannot look at myself in the mirror and not look at Alex and go, give me a little bit of a slice of your contract. I don't need your feelings on it. I just need to know, where are we at? Are we even? Are we pushing? Are you just like, uh, you're going to want some level of details. That's the only question outside of how are you feeling and what's your contract situation like. So I just think that the best situation sometimes is just avoid the media. I'm glad he was out there. It's good to see him. What scares me is that it's going to be an issue if what happens and the conclusion is they just say tough. Brad Holmes plants his flag and is like, "Sorry, Alex, this is your situation." That scares me. That could be noise because he could be unhappy. And unhappy players aren't the freest players. Unhappy players, don't get the unlocked potential. Zach Cunningham alleviates, but he's no Alex Anzalone. Good vet. Does that mean Kazir White's an option? Good vet. But no, Alex is your guy. He's the best linebacker for your position. And Jack Campbell excites me. But what scares me is the Alex Anzalone noise surrounding the things that are going on. I just hope that he gets back out there. And like I said, I would have taken care of it. You hope that there's an agreement made. You hope that he maybe gets this year and next year and call it a day. Give him a chance to retire. So I hope that there's opportunities for that situation to get resolved. But it's going to happen more. It's going to happen a lot more. It's going to happen more, guys, where a lot of the good players that aren't draft picks. And it was funny because draft, develop, sign. The Brad Holmes guys get taken care of. The externals don't. And it kind of proves that way. If you're a Brad Holmes guy, if you get drafted, boom, your contract's locked up. Money coming into your bank account. If you're external, you got to work a little bit. You got to go on X and retweet everybody that shows you love. If you're a Brad Holmes guy, money's coming your way. Giovanni Manu needs to continue to grow and develop. Continues to at times struggle with the speed and power of some of the defensive ends, but eventually, I do think another concern is what scares me is, and I guess the best way to put it is, the projects I don't think are getting to the point this year where they're going to contribute. I think what scares me is that Broderick Martin and Giovanni Manu, again, this year aren't going to be all that much serviceable just yet. Broderick Martin is not getting written down. I don't think I've written his number down other than he was injured and he was back. And just to watch his reps. He engages, he clutches, but he's not, impactful to the degree that you're seeing him swat the football. He's definitely involved in some scuffles, but I want to see more. I want to see more from 99 and 59. So what scares me is that the projects are developing, but slowly, ever so slowly. This is the NFL, not for long. So it kind of lends to the idea that I don't want projects like that. I just think you stick with college players. I don't. I just think that that idea is kind of smartest guy in the room mentality. We see a diamond in the rough. We want to give it a chance. Like these are valued roster positions. Every roster spot is valuable, and long term projects don't work in the NFL, in my opinion. Great, Manu is going to be great for the Detroit Lions in 2027. But that's the year they're going to take a step back after winning the Super Bowl because all the good players are going to leave. It's like, okay, maybe he slots right in to replace Taylor Decker. We'll see. But this is the NFL. This is a fast-paced world. Not for long. Yeah, Brad loves the drafted guys. Brad loves his guys, which it could be a weakness, could be a strength. He loves his guys. They're getting fatly paid. He loves his draft picks. So that scares me. And then I do want to address what I've been seeing from my friends in the media. Fair and balanced is the approach that you're supposed to kind of take. After 1 week, the universal narrative kind of popping up is Hendon Hooker's the backup. He's the guy already. And he looks yes, he does look better. But I would hold off on crowning him yet because some of the accomplishments are on the third team. He's been shifting every single day, second team, third team, second team, third team. So to assess that he's now the viable backup just a little too soon after 1 week. That's one of the ones where you go, wait a minute. What's the reason everybody's writing? Well, yes, he is throwing the ball. He's basically the beat writers are like, wow, he looks like a quarterback. He's getting the ball out. He's not getting sacked every play. To me, that's the floor. Like, okay, now he's at the beginning stage of getting after it and progressing. But this is where he should have been last year. You know what I mean? We're a year behind. And so I think when I was thinking about this in my notes, this is the metaphor I'm going to use. It's like the beat writers saw water in the desert. They're like, whoa, he looks like a quarterback. And we've also watched intently Tim Boyle, Nate Sudfeld throw ducks and David Blau. And they're like, oh, this is better than that. Let's keep it in context that, yes, Hooker's probably better than those guys. But let's compare, relatively speaking, to the way quarterbacks are supposed to play. He's got a long way to go. So I want to see what Kyle Allen and Hendon Hooker do in competition against real NFL talent. And I think, too, I want to know, I just wish that, there are, a lot of reps to go around. I want to see Hendon Hooker with the ones. Like, how are we supposed to assess really Hendon Hooker when he's got third string offensive linemen who are not going to be here? That's not a fair way to go, wow, Hendon's back. No, I just think you got to pump the brakes a little bit. It's first week. He is starting to improve, get the ball out quickly. We did see a rep. Me and another reporter were like, boom, 3-step drop, out. Good. That's what a quarterback should do consistently, day after day. I just wish that he could play with better competition so you can get a full assessment of the man. But I just think the media is seeing water in the desert, and they're like, yeah, Hendon's back. It's only been a week. Let's calm down a little bit. Let's kind of take a more measured approach, and let's see him in game action. That's the first real evaluation. In practice, good. Get after it. Go out there and handle your business. But interesting, multiple media members. Hendon. Okay, yes. Kyle Allen's also looking good too. But I would be reserved to be out here and being like, yeah, Hendon Hooker's the backup of the future and things like that. You got to step it up consistently. You got to lead touchdown drives next week. You got to get after it. You got to be able to take care of business. And the other aspect that scares me is Graham Glasgow. Up and down week. Was getting beat up by DJ Reader. What scares me is he's the best option at center, but I don't know if he's the best option overall. I just thought that you saw yesterday that the defensive line was dominant. That's a little bit concerning. The run game is not as good with so far. It's give and take. The run game's not as good with Graham at center than it is with Tate. That's a little concerning. But the offense runs a little smoother with the calls and the reliability. So it's a give and take. There's no perfect solution. But Graham Glasgow scares me a little bit in regards to if he's the guy, what's the impact going to be when, he's got to be somebody that stands up to some guys. Look at the schedule. The defensive tackles we play this year are pretty elite on the defensive side of the ball of our opponents. Elite defensive tackles, not the crumb bums that you were facing in years past. Elite defensive tackles are going to be on the schedule. And if you put Tate there, they're just going to blitz the A-gap all day long, twice on Sunday. And that'll be a nice test. That's a good question because I think that's the tone Amon-Ra said. Jeff, that's a good question because I was the one leading the charge. So, meaning that here was my question to Dan. My question was in full, Dan, we've seen Jamo develop. We see him making plays. What are the points of emphasis? What do you want to see more of? And he's like, don't forget the blocking. So what that means is that, okay, once a player gets there, guys, players are always working on something. There's no finished products. And the best way to equate it is for me, okay, I have a successful podcast. What was the next step for me? I could have been like, I got a good audio podcast. You never see my face. You never even know who I am. And then so many people, my friends were like, you're not that bad at this. Get better. Get on video. People were DMing me. Why aren't you on YouTube? I said, I have a video channel, a player that's the top of the world, millions of views. It's good. They're like, but the people are on YouTube. And I said, okay. And I said, I'll try it. And so far, the response has been overwhelmingly nice over 6 months. I said, okay, I'll do it live. I was more of a lab guy. So you always get better. You try to advance yourself. So now Jamo is looking like a true receiver. What does that look like? What does that mean? Because we're seeing a new version of Jamo. So our job in the media is not to assume. We ask, okay, what is it that he's doing that you like, Dan? And he explained it in his quote. Go listen. The job of a question is two things: to figure out why things are happening, what do you like about what you're seeing, and what can he continue to get better at. So he is a pro. He is getting better. But we also got to get insights from the players. And I think my article hit the spot. Tesla said, we love his energy. This is what I can feed off of. So you get the angle of a young player watching Jamo going, oh, I want to be like that. The energy, the passion, we get that perspective. Now, Amon-Ra took it a little bit differently in that I've already asked this. He's a beast, but that question was more nitty gritty, like, more geeky. Like, okay, is he running better routes? Is he more confident? Is he like arrived? And so in essence, I'll own that in that, when you're in there and you're in the spotlight, you're trying to battle over 5 other guys that are going to ask a question. And you want also too, I got to hurry up, get the question out, get his answer out, and then go see 3 other guys because it's just me. So it's not exactly where I would feel I'm asking the questions 90% effectively. Just what is it that you're seeing that's different? What are you seeing? So he just said, here's my same answer. So Amon-Ra maybe won't be the best guy. Maybe Khalif Raymond would be better to answer that question. But the job is to bring insight and detail. I can never assume. Otherwise, how can I come on here and share with you guys stuff if I'm just making assumptions? My job is to go get the details so that I can bring it back. What's Jamo doing better? What Dan Campbell exactly said is what we're seeing. Better route combination, better use of his body, better confidence, less drops. So we're not asking questions like he's a rookie. We're asking questions like, why is he doing what he's doing right now to be good? And I think my article will be able to give you in-depthly a full picture from the coach to a rookie to a vet. And that's why I'll give you a little insight. That article did pretty well. Pieced together nicely. Keeps the lights on in this nice studio that you guys are liking. So that's the secret sauce to that story was, okay, part of the reason you do the job is you go, okay, I see this. Why is it happening? What's next? And my questions are always, okay, good. You're doing this. What's the point of emphasis? What do you want to keep seeing? And so Dan wants to keep seeing the grit work. Don't let up when you're not the target and you see your running back and you see your wide receiver, your teammate running, block, because there's guys that are going to get to the house. Block. Don't forget that. Because basically, Dan basically said publicly without saying it, I don't want to see no diva stuff from you, Jamo. You get the ball and you get the flex, but you also, the price you pay is you block for your teammates. You be a teammate. He reminded him publicly, and that only comes when you ask. I thought Dan gave a great answer to a solid question, which now you can hear loudly from the Allen Park media room. And again, you always know I sit in the same spot. When Dan points to the left, when the guys look down and to the left, they're looking at me. So that scares me, is the center spot. What's going to happen based on both decisions? I'm hoping that Graham Glasgow can be somebody that can get better. And also, too, you look at the defensive linemen, you hope that Mekhi Wingo, Ali McNeil get after it. You hope that there's opportunities for Roy Lopez to continue to develop, and some of the young guys like Keith Cooper might make their way into the scenario. So those things scare me, is that, there's some depth issues that if some injuries at some spots happen, you might face some challenges. Let me know. Do you have those same fears as me or no? Let me know in the comments what you believe, what you think, what excites you. What excites you moving forward? What are you intrigued by in week 2? What do you want Doc to write about? You ask, I'll deliver, because I serve you guys. The reason why I go every day is you guys have been liking it and it's growing. And this is not work. This is passion. This is just, I love it. All right. My final segment here, and then we'll have a little portion for questions. Get your questions in. Yeah, I understand. But when you lose Frank Ragnow, it's a big loss. Get your questions in. Final 5 minutes or so, I'll get to some of your biggest questions. What am I going to look for? Continued growth from Hendon Hooker, the players that are going to play during the Hall of Fame game. What do they bring to the table? I want to see the safety battle. Guys, the safety battle is looking nice. Avonte Maddox and Dan Jackson are doing their thing, but you got other guys that are doing some fun stuff. You got some nice competition at safety. It's looking real good. Lauren Strickland's getting after it. Hallett had himself a good week. The safeties are battling because they know there's only a handful of spots. So they're making it tough. The young rookie wide receivers, Jackson Meeks versus Dominic Lovett, they're going to get after it. It's going to be fun to watch. The safety battle is very competitive. Very competitive. It stunk. The one guy that I thought would have benefited from Kirby Joseph not playing on Saturday would have been Ian Kennelly, but he wasn't there also. He would have had a great day to kind of shoot his stock up there. Again, I want to see what Hendon Hooker does when he's with the 2s. And I wish you could see him with the 1s. Like, no disrespect, but Hendon Hooker versus Boodle and Maurice Norris isn't going to make or break what he does in a career. He's got to do it up against Terrion and Ennis and Amik Robertson. Do it against the best. And it's just 4 plays. Doesn't have to be just 1 series every practice. It's not going to hurt Jared Goff. 1 series, full team. And guys, too, just a quick user guide. The 7-on-7 reps are valuable, but that favors the offense. There's more space. So always pay attention in your reading to what you see in full team. And if you have questions on a highlight, ask the reporters. Was that full team or 7-on-7? Because 7-on-7, guys, is, that's what it was an observation that a reporter from the team asked. He goes, he introed it with, you typically see the offense win the rep. And you saw the defense on a 7-on-7 dominate 5 plays in a row earlier this week. That stood out, because the 7-on-7 drills are meant for the quarterback to just stand there, scan the field a little bit, and throw the ball and make it happen. So you can't surmise a lot intently off of 7-on-7. Full team is where it's at. What happens mano a mano, pads on pads, tackling. It's just funny that kind of people gloss over that in their reporting. That's a good question, man. I don't know. I don't think so. No, your question's great. Doc, do you think we will see at least one starter play Thursday, or will they let guys like Tate, Ahmed, Lovett, Tesla, Jackson get extended reps? The latter. Absolutely. Young guys are going to play. They're going to play. I want to see Jared Goff kind of have a little bit better week. The first week was a little bit slow for the Lions, per se, in regards to their execution and a lot of things. I want to see Penei Sewell take a step forward, win more of the one-on-one reps. He had a B+ week, but he's an A++ player. Good player, good week, but not to his standards. His standards are elite of the elite. Best of the best, creme de la creme. So I want to see him have a better week. What are you guys looking for? Let me know in the chat, in the comment. What do you guys want to see? And again, it's great because you have direct access to the guy creating the content. So you guys said humbly, Doc, let us know about the Pat O'Connors. Let us know about the Kyle Robichauds. Let us know about the Jackson Meeks. There's a story about Dominic Lovett. We talked to him. You also see him ask, you hear me ask him a question. I said, hey, what? A couple of the questions that I asked a couple of different receivers, if you want to go watch it from the Lions, go visit their great content, is I asked Tesla and Dominic Lovett, what about John Morton's offense makes it so that you feel confident it fits your needs? And they both kind of said the same thing, which is good, is that Johnny Mo knows their strengths and they feel like it's plug and play. That's a real good answer from some young players. They feel like Johnny Mo has them in the right position and they feel confident. And Lovett had a funny comment too, which made I think everybody laugh. Johnny Mo showing them his highlights of him being the fastest guy at the combine. Johnny Mo was the fastest guy at the combine. Fast John Morton. And he's like, yeah, he's showing us 1965 film of installs and stuff like that. So these guys are getting the history of football, which that's old school. Go check out. Those are great interviews. Check out the radio station. WJR did a whole set of interviews. Go find their podcast because there's got to be some audio of Tate Ratledge, Terry and Arnold, and Meek Robertson, Lomas Brown, and Ken Brown. The Browns. Lomas Brown and Ken Brown. That's their names. Yeah, it just kind of hit me. They were doing great work, and all respect to Lomas. He's humbly one of the nicest people you can talk ball with. And over the years, I get to ask him some questions about the offensive line play, and he gives it, get straight to the point. The Browns did good work this week. So a lot of good things to pay attention to week 2. The competition level is going to go up on Monday, I believe. And I'm curious to see how the week sets up. I think Monday is going to be an intense practice. Tuesday might be light ahead of a game. So that's kind of how I view it. But it could be different. It could be hardcore Monday and Tuesday. Let me know. What did you guys think of the physicality last week? Do you like the physicality that you're seeing? It's football. It's intense. But is it too much for a team dealing with injuries? I don't think so. But it's out there. Kirby Joseph wasn't out there on Saturday. Terry and Arnold has already left the practice early, but luckily nothing has been lingering. Let me know in the comments. Do you like physical intense practices or not? So those are the things. And like I said, the blessing you guys have of having access to somebody who will respond and interact with you directly. I think I've responded to 96% of the comments on YouTube so far. And there will become a time where I can't, but just know that the more chances, more comments you make, the better off you will be. You guys are noticing how my family's noticing too. And I will clear something up. I am not looking for the camera. Guys, you can see the disparity. I'm 5'4". I'm older. And, my job, you see with the phone, that's a recorder. So my job, and plus there's a lot of noise. It's like, if you really think about it, I try to focus really hard. There's a lot of noise at Allen Park. There's so many people walking around. There's kids running around. There's fans. There's just noise. And so also at the same time, myself, I'm thinking, okay, content plan, what time? And so your mind is going in 50 directions. Okay, what time can I get to the facility and studios to do the podcast? So you're trying to focus on what do I want to say? I want to beat out a couple other reporters who are getting content. And remember, I'm one-man band. So it's just me scooting all over the place, trying to get as many. And you saw yesterday on our article, what the best things I heard. I got to interview 7, 8 guys. That's just me. So I want to get my microphone real close. Remember, I'm shorter. So the big, tall camera guys are in my way. I'm trying to scoot through to get the best angle. I feel like the best angle is like right to their left. So I could get the microphone close and maybe get on camera as a bonus. You see me interviewing Tesla, that's me with the hat on and acknowledging his comments and try. And you see me always looking around because I'm seeing who else is being interviewed. So it's tough. Again, I've said it 6 times this week. I'm going to keep saying it. Being a one-man reporter for your outlet is tough. It really is. But I love the challenge. I think when I put the content out and I see the views and the numbers, I'm like, wow, this is one guy doing all this with the help of others outside the facility. It's humbling to try and do it, but maybe pretty soon I'll be like, listen, we have big numbers, Lions. Let me have a friend. Doc deserves a friend, doesn't he? Do I? Put it in the comments. Does Doc deserve a friend or no? Solo Doc. We don't need any more of your kind out there at Allen Park. Just one and done. Just one guy. But yeah, I try to get real close to the players so I can hear them, so I can focus on what they're saying and decipher how I want to report it. I'm married. So, but I'm not going to say, I'll say this. Everybody that has a conversation with the DOC, they like the conversation. They'll laugh. They'll have some insight. They'll have some things be like, okay, man. And I think that's why you guys enjoyed it this last hour. uh, yeah. Attila the Hun. I think you're trying to send me into a situation in which a blow up happens on camera. I didn't ask him if he had a new contract. I asked, can you please just humbly let us know we're at a standstill? Like the declaration of we're just kind of at a standstill. Or, it would lend that question, you can interpret it, they're not close. Or you could say, man, we're right there. You could just kind of, but he doesn't want to negotiate in the media. He looked at me in that question, which I posted at Detroit Podcast. Come on, man, I'm not going to answer that. but I have to ask it. I have to ask it. I have to ask. And so my way was, is it fair to say that it's kind of like hasn't moved? But it's not. He wouldn't say. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, fair playing field, right? Actually, you know what? I'm honestly, it's crazy, Phil. You bring up that subject. In reporting, there is some value and valor in just trying to do it all as a one-man reporter. There is something where you look at it and you go, wow, how is this one guy flying all over the place, getting as much content as possible, asking all these questions, getting all this information, and then presenting it? It's like, it's tough, but you realize when other outlets have 4 and you got 1, you just go about the fair and ethical. And I've never complained. I've never said, hey, come on, that's really unfair based on the standing of an iconic brand like Sports Illustrated. But I get to vent here, and it's more than enough. Like, come on. I'm more like, okay, I look at it like the challenge is great. It's rewarding. It's fun. It's a little tiring, but you look at it like, all right, other outlets will have easier opportunity to talk to the guys at the microphone, and other outlets can talk to the guys at the microphone, the guys in the middle, other guys exclusive. So I want to bring you features. I want to bring you the stories of the young guys fighting, but it's just me. So the first week was steak. Jamo, Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs, the big dudes, the rookies. And then as camp progresses, Doc will find his way around and talk to some of the other guys as well. But no, the others should have. But I don't think it should be 3, 4, and 5 to 1 when I've asked. But there's only so much space. And you got to think about it too. On the other side, to bring the full scale, you got reporters, television, national media. So you can't have 200 people out there at Allen Park. No. That's right. And I'm glad you guys noticed. I report, you decide. I broadcast, you decide. Thank you. That's really nice. Listen, I'll toot my own horn too at some points. All right, last 2 minutes. Man, I said 45 minutes. I went another 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. All right, get your hilarity in. 5 more minutes, and it's the outdoors for me. I'd love to. I'd love to. I want to, and also too, just on a professional level, when more reporters get to report, I can pay them. They're not going to go out there for free. I can advance the career of a reporter who can put NFL reporter on his resume. And that's what I love to do is advancing others. And that's something behind the scenes that I haven't talked about is how many media members are working that have made their way through Detroit Sports Podcast. It's humbling. It's honoring, especially a broadcaster who broadcasted for the Lions last year. Truly humbling how many people have come through and have Detroit Sports Podcast on their resume behind the scenes. That's what I'm about. Go advance yourself. Use our platform. Bounce off. Go be a photographer. Go be a videographer for the NFL or other outlets. Use us to bounce off. Use it. Use it. Use the opportunity. But when somebody voluntarily doesn't let you, when it's really been deserved, you want me to beg? Doc, don't beg. I can do the job. I can do it. I feel okay. I'm confident enough to do it, but it's tiring. It's hard too because you got two fields, you got one-on-ones happening, and you want to bring it, to the masses. I want to have the best show possible. And if you let me have the other reporter, it's the most accurate reporting of what's going on. Less mistakes, less misinterpretations, less chances Brad Holmes calls me out. So I'll have an excuse. Brad will be like, you guys just don't know. Well, you don't let me know because you only let me have one reporter, Mr. Holmes. Imagine me retorting to his criticism of the media. Mr. Holmes, there's only one Mr. Doc out there. It's not my fault. I'm wrong. Mr. Holmes, the reason why I can't get the draft accurate is because you won't let me. I haven't seen Netflix Crew. Definitely NFL Network. You see a lot of fun, but like I said, I'm not looking for the cameras. I'm looking for the players. All right, you got 180 seconds. Any last minute questions that I'm going to try to get to here before I get out? Cody, shout out. Great. Hopefully you get another opportunity to catch me live. Leave a comment, review the last hour, enjoy it. Let me know what scares you, what excites you. That was the topic over the last hour. I think David Shaw's a professional, makes Jared Goff comfortable, makes him an individual that I think will help the passing game. You can see it in the routes and in the early development of the wide receivers is due to Scotty Montgomery and the work of David Shaw. Great question. I probably will do this on the field reporting, probably 55, 60, go there, as long as they'll have me. But I'll podcast forever. It's my passion. I love this. The door has been open, and I kicked the door shut. Remember, just a quick story on that. There was only less than a dozen people podcasting every week in 2013. It's facts. There was the great Rogelio Castillo and his network, and just a couple others. You model them, and then I got after it. And I said, this is media. And the Lions said, no, it isn't. And I said, yes, it is. And they said, no, it isn't. And I said, yes, it is. And here I am. Who was right? Who was wrong? Mr. Doc, podcasts are not traditional media. We don't feel like that is a form of media that we will credential. Yes, you will. No, you won't. Yes, you will. You'll credential me. That was the discussion. And when the audience was built, an iconic company came and got it. Yes, it is. Now every single person in the world podcasts at the highest levels. They've taken those that thought it was great and took it to a level. Podcasts are media. We're in the mix. I'm a podcaster. That's what I always want to be known as. Not a journalist, not a reporter. I just want to be known as Dr. Podcaster, the gritty podcaster. That's it. Humbly, that's my role. That's my passion. That's what I am. And now you're proud to say it because guess what? Now all the other media are going to have to learn it. But guess what? I got a 15-year head start. Too slow, fellas. 15-year head start they gave me. Good Lord. You guys didn't know that podcasting was for real? It didn't take too much to know that because, well, I can't lie. I'm a psychologist. So I knew that people communicate and the love that people have to listen to conversations and listen to radio. It's not fair. I knew it was going to blow up. I had the edge. I got a 15-year head start. Good luck catching up. The entertainers have taken it over. The athletes are now doing it. What's the book title? Let me know. I don't know if I'm write a book. I know there's zero evidence teams can avoid or has more injuries year over year. Very fair. You just got to hope. Last minute questions before outdoor activities take over the dock. Again, thank you guys for letting me podcast, be part of the community. I'm just a small part of the Detroit sports community. The podcast game is great. I love it. Do it live is the avenue I'm going into. But there's always going to be audio podcasts. There's audio podcasts on the tab on the website. You can hear it audio wise. If you're going for a walk, you want to replay it. There's always going to be the home base of audio. That's my love, my passion. Just hear my voice, hear my thoughts in your ears. This is fun. This is fun, but this is growing on me. The John Macaroon Lone Wolves podcast. That's good. Yeah, probably. Real smart. Yep. Depth charts, who liked. Yeah, that'll all be part of the coverage. To preview the coverage, we'll be out there Monday and Tuesday. I'll be doing a lot of interviews. My phone's blowing up. And you guys know any interview that, if you want to hear from the doc, DM me. I love to go on the podcast, love supporting others, going on the radio a couple times, podcasts. So you'll see me. Man, that's really nice. That I don't think I can keep talking words after that. That's pretty much the goal. That's pretty much why I'm grinding. Keep it up, Doc. I feel like I pretty much know everything going on at practice so far. That's the mission. That's the goal. You guys blessed me to be out there, and my repayment to you is to share as much as humanly possible to the point where you're like, man, slow down, take a day off. We're going to leave on that note. That's humbling. That's the mission. That's the goal. Every single day, do it live, Doc. That's my time for today. Thanks, everybody. Let me give you all the tools, all the stuff that you need to know. si.com/NFL/Lions. That's the written audio visual content. That's the mainstay of the info. Here, visuals, great video podcasts. The central location at Detroit Podcast. That's where you can go to find exactly where you need to get after it. Comment, like. Again, I produce the things that you want happening. So just simply comment, like, and you guys steer the content. Graham Glasgow. Jeff, that's the question. Graham Glasgow. Thank you, guys. I hope that you truly feel like you're getting insider analysis from myself and Detroit Lions on SI. Gritty Doc's going to go enjoy the outdoors and check out our site. Thanks for the rewards. Let's talk again tomorrow.